and welcome back to Campus Conversations, the brand new podcast series brought to you by the Alabama Independent School Association. I'm your host, Michael Shipma, Marketing and Communications Director here at AISA. This is a series that dives into what it means to be a part of the AISA. It includes interviews with experts in academics, accreditation, and athletics, all so that the AISA can better serve our more than 90 member schools along with their 28,000 students. Every Friday, join us for these engaging and helpful discussions designed to help students, teachers, and administrators be the best that they can be. And today, we're talking with a representative from S2 Pass. If you haven't heard of them, they're a digital solutions company whose technology is streamlining school operations like never before. So, whether you're an educator, school administrator, or simply curious about the latest in school technology, you'll want to stay tuned for this episode. This is Campus Conversations. Security, efficiency, and communication. Those are three things that everyone wants at their school, whether they're a student, parent, teacher, coach, or administrator. And that's where S2 Pass comes in. It's a cutting edge platform revolutionizing how schools manage visitors, track attendance, and communicate with families. And with the challenges that schools face today, from ensuring safety to streamlining administrative tasks, S2 Pass is at the forefront of providing practical solutions. And joining us now to talk about this service is Preston Johnson. He's the Vice President of Sales at S2 Pass. So thank you, Preston, so much for joining us on the podcast. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of looking at S2 Pass and what they do, it's something that perhaps not a whole lot of schools are familiar with. I myself wasn't too terribly familiar with it prior to kind of researching for this episode. So let's kind of start things off just by talking a little bit about what S2 Pass is and what your role specifically in the company is.
Yeah, so S2 Pass started off in 2020, just focused on digital ticketing. So a lot of people think that we started because of COVID, but in reality, we started because we understand that schools need the best for when it comes to financial reporting. And so we understood that, okay, a lot of schools are, collecting a lot of cash at the gate, when it comes to, hosting events. And as time went on, we had schools who partnered with us and they loved the platform so much that they were like, hey, people are coming into games without any cash. So could you help us out in the concession stand? And so we asked all the customers to say, okay, how would you do that? And they pretty much just gave us all their feedback and we built a concessions feature to the platform. And then again, as time went on, we added a new feature called the school shop. And this is where schools can basically process payments for anything where they don't want to collect cash, or at least make that as another option. So for a school, they can pretty much process every payment on campus through one platform, making the financial reporting a lot easier for the bookkeepers. So that's basically an overview of the platform.
I mean, that has to be really nice for a lot of folks. I mean, obviously for the schools themselves, but for me, sometimes I may not think to carry around cash for, any sort of event that I might be going to. So, this is kind of like, is this like an app? Is this something that people can have on their phones? Is this for both visitors and the schools to have? Kind of describe what kind of that user experience is like, I guess.
Right. So, if I'm a parent, let's say it's the beginning of the school year, I'll probably download the S2 Pass app, or I can go to our website, S2 Pass fans website. I can purchase my tickets there, but think about the process as a parent. Let's say it's the beginning of the year and I need to purchase maybe yearbooks or maybe pay for athletic fees, things of that nature. I can process those payments. And now when it comes time for purchasing season passes and tickets, I'm using the same platform through the application. So it's very easy for the parent to just go to the same spot every time they need to make a transaction. They're familiar with it. So as far as communicating that to your community, whether it's for ticketing or just athletic fees, things like that, it's very easy. Yeah.
And it sounds like it's also a very customizable platform based on whatever schools need. So talk a little bit about what that customization looks like, maybe for different needs. Like say, you have an event, maybe it's not an athletic event, maybe you're having like a school, like a school play or whatever, and you're taking tickets up at the door. Like how exactly would a school put something together to where they could collect the money from that through your platform?
Right. So, it's so funny. When we were just doing ticketing, we would see schools use our ticketing platform and they would upload field trips, collect money for field trips. They would still upload things for plays and things like that. But it got us really thinking that, it's we can create the features, but then it's up to the schools on how they utilize these features. We give them all of the tools that they need to collect the funds through these various avenues. So, with that being said, it's like it just allows a school to say, okay, we need to collect money for this play. We need to collect money for athletic fees, whatever it may be. Our tool has been geared to those needs for the school specifically. But as far as like the customizing all of these different features for schools, we've had just so many people, so many of our customers come out and say, hey, what if you did it like this? And so that's what we rely on because ultimately, we're not the ones who are using the platform on a daily basis like the end user is. So these are the people, the headmasters, the bookkeepers, athletic directors, those are the individuals who can provide the best feedback that we can then just put into our platform. So that's how we've been customizing. It's just been based on feedback.
Well, and customer feedback is one of the things that kind of just poking around the S2 Pass website, it looks like you guys really are uh, really tuned in to what people are saying. You all have worked with AISA in the past with all sorts of different athletic events, state championships, all that good stuff. Several of our member schools with AISA have also been using S2 Pass. You mentioned a little bit of the feedback about, hey, why don't we do this maybe, or what if we added this feature somehow? Talk a little bit about some of the feedback that you guys have heard from, maybe not necessarily AISA schools, but other institutions that have used your platform and how it's helped them in a very practical way.
Right. So, well, I would say the biggest thing is how user friendly our platform is. So actually, when we developed this platform, there was another company, a very popular company, was already out and about. And we saw the opportunity because we went to their app store ratings and we saw what the common complaints were. And then we went to schools who were using that platform. We said, okay, if you were to build this platform, how would you do it? And so one of the things that was mentioned all the time was actually, hey, sometimes we don't get our money on a regular basis. Like we expect the money to come in on this date, but then it actually comes on this date. The check goes missing and so on. And so with our platform, we gave the school the confidence and knowing like, okay, the money's going to arrive on this date. S2 Pass never touches your money, so there's no liability there. We give you guys the ability to refund customers at your discretion. It's not up to us because it's not our money, right? So it just allows us to again meet the needs of the schools because at the very beginning of the company we said, okay, how would you do it? So like I said, refunds, the deposits coming in, and then the way we break it down on the financial reporting, that's another big one. When it comes to bookkeepers, they're having to collect, think about it like this. Okay, if you're a bookkeeper, you're having to collect checks and cash from many different directions. Okay. So with our platform, let's say you receive a deposit for $10,000. Well, the first question you're going to ask is, okay, where did all this money come from? It could come from 50 different things. It could come from two different things. But in our financial reporting and the reconciliation reports, it breaks that down. So that way you know where to send the money, which particular accounts within the school to send that money. But also if there's ever an audit, you have all the documentation that you could ever need down to every single transaction that created our executive summaries, which all that money flowed into that school's bank account. So that's one of the biggest things is really saving, the accounting department a lot of time and just letting them know they'll look at all these reports and they're confident in the information that they see. So
I mean,
that's
keeping track
that's
of
another.
things. Yeah, keeping track of things is obviously one of the things that we hear a lot about from schools. It can be a bit of a black hole for their time, and there's only so many hours in the day for all of us to get everything done. So, hopefully, this is something that schools can take advantage of, and even going beyond just attendance for events like what we were talking about earlier and ticketing and stuff like that. This platform also does something really interesting. It can actually kind of keep tabs on visitors at events or maybe new people or different people who are coming into events. Talk a little bit about how that works, because I'm sure for a lot of schools, the security implications for that have to be very positive and encouraging for people to know, who is at this sporting event that could be attended by, hundreds or even thousands of people. Talk a little bit about that feature.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anytime a transaction takes place, there's data that goes along with that. So, like your email address, and I'll say this, we don't share people's information, all that stuff is locked down. But, if there ever is an issue, there is information that is tracked. But yeah, schools have the ability to also offer different types of tickets. We've seen where schools will, offer a visitor ticket, home and away ticket. So then they're like, okay, how well does that team travel? Some schools have the ability to, select who they want to play. But yeah, you definitely have the ability to see who's coming into the games, and that's definitely a pro. But one thing that I kind of would like to get into is, one of the concerns with a lot of schools is what is all of this going to cost me? Right. Okay, we can go digital, but is it going to save my fans time? Is it going to save my team time? And, that was one of the other things that we took a look at when we found the platform. Now, the industry standard is $1 per ticket. Okay. So let's say we have a $3 ticket. All right. If I buy three $3 tickets, that means my fee is going to be $3. Now, to us, we thought that was crazy. That's extremely high. You're spending the same amount of fees as you are on a singular ticket. So we took a different approach. Our approach was actually to do a tier-based pricing model. So that means that if the subtotal is within $1 to $10, the fee is 99 cents. So it's not based on individual tickets. Okay. So let's say I go and I buy two adult tickets. The subtotal is $14. That's within our second tier. That means the fee will be $1.99. So it's very simple to think, okay, my fee is just going to be $1 for every $10 that I spend, not on the individual tickets, right? So like another competitor, they do $1.50 per ticket. So you can think how it gets so expensive when you're purchasing tickets for families. So we always say, depending on the price of your tickets and the quantity of tickets being purchased, we're going to be the more affordable option in the industry. And then when you go back to the time that is saved for the bookkeepers, you're saving so much money there as well. So that was just another thing I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's great information because, and when you are thinking about that process of getting signed up and kind of comparing and shopping around, right now, as of the recording of this podcast, we're in fall semester 2024. We're in the midst of football season. So I'm sure a lot of schools, even if they might be interested in something like this, probably aren't going to try and change anything mid-season, but still, we've got basketball season right around the corner. We've got baseball and softball right around the corner, all sorts of different events, field trips, even as you mentioned earlier. Talk a little bit about how going from zero to being fully up and running with this platform, with this app, kind of getting parents on board, getting teams on board, kind of walk through what's the general timeline in your experience for schools getting up and running with this the way that they want to be.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So we actually have had schools call us, let's say 10 a.m. in the morning. They say, okay, hey, I have a game tonight. I really want to start using this. We have a game tonight. Is there anything that you can do to get this up and running? And we've been able to accomplish that for
Wow.
even AISA schools. So, that takes no time at all. We connect the banking details, business details, but it's very easy to get started. Things that might take a little bit longer is, we're going to send you some banners. We're going to send you some, social media flyers. We'll send out, provide like example videos. But what schools have been doing recently is they have been purchasing one of our devices. It's called the S700. This device right here, I'll show you here in a second when I have it pulled up on the screen. But a lot of member schools have been purchasing the S700. And the reason why is because let's say someone didn't purchase their tickets in advance, the school has the option to process card payments at the gate. So they can, we're scanning tickets, right? Everybody has their pre-purchased tickets. We're good to go. And then someone shows up, hey, I don't have a ticket. What can I do? Hey, I can take your payment right here using the same device that I did to validate tickets. Okay. Once when I process those payments, they can go on in. Maybe it's halftime. I can now take the device over to the concession stand, and then we can process concession payments. And you have the ability to customize menus and all that sort of stuff. So this device right here has been awesome. It's $375, but there's no contract or anything like that. We'll also provide a hotspot to go with it if you need one. So you don't have to worry about internet connection when you're, out at the baseball field where there isn't any. So yeah, that S700 has been very popular and has allowed schools to transition at a faster rate to going totally without cash. Some
Well,
schools
yeah.
still have a cash option, but a lot of schools really try to eliminate the cash because it eliminates the headache for them.
Yeah. And with that option, with that device too, it's important to remember that then you don't necessarily have to have fans with the app or anything like that. They can just bring their card, which they always have with them anyways. So definitely a really good feature there. So I guess if there were any questions that people had, heads of school, coaches, they wanted to get in touch with y'all, they wanted to learn a little bit more about the service, or get in touch with you, what would be your best advice for them? Where can they go to kind of learn a little bit more, get a little bit more information?
Yeah, so I would highly recommend that they just call me or text me. So you can call me directly. My number is 256-457-3912. You can call me, you can text me at any time. My email address is preston@s2pass.com. So feel free to reach out to me at any time. There's also plenty of AISA schools that you could reach out to get their opinion on the platform. I know Bob Taylor over at Clark Prep. He's been fantastic. So feel free to give him a call, bother him, ask him what his honest opinion is. So
Well, I'm sure it's a good opinion, but Preston Johnson, look, that's all I have for right now. But look, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for taking some time, and hopefully this service will help even more AISA member schools, and definitely have them reach out to you for a little bit more information, and we'll get your contact info in the episode description down below. So again, Preston Johnson, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
thank you, Michael. Take care.
What a great tool for schools to have. And if you're excited or interested about the future of educational technology, make sure to check out S2Pass and see how their solutions might benefit your school. To do that, check out the link that's below in the episode description. But before you go, don't forget to check out Campus Conversations on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, you can check out the video version of this podcast by heading over to the Alabama Independent School Association YouTube page for that. But for now, I'm your host, Michael Shipma. Thank you for listening.